Hello everyone and welcome back to the season finale of our first year in Formula 1 for our My Team journey with Phoenix Motorsport. And the last time out we were racing in this Brazilian Grand Prix, or the Sao Paulo Grand Prix as it's also known now. And it was a bit of luck, and it was also a dramatic one as well, finishing P4 in the race, the highest finish we've ever had, which was amazing, absolutely amazing. Probably one of our best races of the season, to say the least. And as you can see here, I've been flicking through to see what kind of drivers there are about available and everything, because we are not going to renew Piastri at the end of the season. So I'm trying to decide what drivers to go for at the time of recording. So that's about one. As you saw in the performance chart, we are not quite near Williams, but out on track we do all the talking. And as for the standings, Charles Leclerc has already won it. Max Verstappen is pretty much firmly for second, just for now. All he needs to do is just win this Grand Prix, and then he'll be able to finish second. But also the team need to do well in order to score big points, so they have a chance of taking the constructors' titles. Red Bull. All Ferrari need to do is just play their part and win. As you can see here, we've been trying to sort out setups for the car and on this track and everything. I felt pretty confident. I felt pretty comfortable and a bit confident after the first practice session, I must say. Having done a bit of practice on the new layout of the racetrack, I think the new layouts are much rather improvement, to say the least. The little sort of spoon like shape towards the end after the second straight. It's a nice corner and very fast and everything. So it's a nice welcoming change to the Abu Dhabi circuit. Still though, this year's Grand Prix, 2022 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, it was a bit of a snore, unfortunately. But last year's race, even despite the controversy, it was a good race in a way. But as you can see here, we've done all of the practice sessions for the season finale and our last time before going to season 2 with everything. And because we had enough resource points, we decided to do some upgrades for the downforce, because we are in desperate need for it. So we do the nose and the wing mirrors to help us reduce drag. So we can get straight into qualifying here. And I feel pretty confident, I must say. I felt pretty confident going in. But at the same time, I had that thought in my head of how we're going to navigate through this racetrack and everything and get the best out of the car, because there were some corners that I wasn't so sure about, especially with the track violation limit and everything. I don't know how we didn't get a violation for this here on our flying lap here, and we do a 1 minute 26.4, which is a pretty good lap, I must say, but I felt like I could do a lot more. So I ended up going out to do another lap, which was not captured in this because it was a bit time with it, but I didn't do so well there. But we do go out again on a new set of soft tires, and we do improve by 4.5 tenths, just in the getting into the 125s, and that puts us 10th in the next qualifying session, which is pretty handy. Pretty handy it was. As for our teammate, well, it's no surprise there. 6 tenths off, nearly. That is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. Mind you, this is all the more reasons why I'm going to get rid of him. No harsh feelings, but it's not good enough. So we go out on a used set of tyres, and we do a 1 minute 26.8. Not quite as good as the previous lap in the first session. But I went out to do another lap, but the tyres were just not, they were just too worn. So I had to go on another set of a used set of soft tyres in hopes to get the most out of the session and try and get out of qualifying 2 to progress in Q3. But even doing so, we won't have any soft tyres. So this was a real conundrum, to say the least. So I was pushing as hard as I can over here, but just judging by the delta and everything, it just wasn't very promising. It wasn't very promising at all. Like, we've broken super late here, and we get a good traction off of there. We're like nearly 4 tenths up just on that corner alone, and we're like coming up to like 5 tenths nearly. Now it's 5 tenths, And this is, I really felt this was becoming a really good lap and everything. If you make a slight mistake here, it'll be wide. But if you go up to like 8/10 or so, then we do a 126 flat, but it wasn't enough. We missed out just by 2/10. Just a bit of luck. But that's the qualifying. So without further ado, let's get straight into the Grand Prix.
It's time then for one final race in this year's Formula One World Championship. 2010 saw 4 drivers in contention for the title coming into this race, with Sebastian Vettel prevailing to become the youngest world champion to date. Is the one last sting in the tail awaiting us today? It's time to find out in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at Yas Marina circuit through 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass, with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed and plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Sir Lewis Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Bottas, Leclerc, Phoenix, Sainz, they've taken a grid penalty. And George Russell, Stroll, Ricciardo, Oscar Piastri and Mick Schumacher. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Latifi, Vettel, Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. Joe, Magnussen, Norris and Alex Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
Once again, a lot of penalties, and we move up 4 places. Pretty handy, once again. And see Piastri move up to 13th, which is pretty cool to see. But in hindsight, as we've seen in previous episodes,
and every driver will be looking to settle in for the race
backwards.
Ahead, making sure their car is ready
backwards.
for the
I didn't realize Albon was starting 21st at the time, thanks to the penalties. But that's pretty bad. Now, for this Grand Prix, we're just going to go out and have so much fun. The championship's done. We're going to cement our place in the top 6 as best as we can for the team, and cement our place in the top 10 in the driver's standings. As for everyone else, the drivers' championship's done with Charles Leclerc winning. As for the constructors, it's Red Bulls to lose. Just a 1-2 finish for them today, and they'll be champions. So we come up to the 4 red lights, 5 red lights for the final time of Season 1. We're underway for Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. It's a good start for the Red Bulls and everything, as does the Alpine of Orlando Alonso by the looks of it, as we go on the inside, middle side, between Carlos Sainz and George Russell. We get ahead of them, coming up to this so fast right-hander here, up to this stretch here, coming towards the resurface area of the new hairpin. I can't remember the name, I can't remember the actual number of this corner, but there's a new resurface area, and we're coming up to this long first straight, just behind the new championship winner, Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, who's done very well this season, coming up on the outside of Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. He tries to make it do, but he doesn't make the move stick. We go around the outside, making the inside, a bit of contact there between us two, and we make the move stick, and we get past the newly championship elected driver, say at least. Bottas is challenging Lewis Hamilton for P5 in this race. The 2 former teammates going out here. They are side by side going into this corner. Lewis Hamilton gets the better of it. We ran wide, literally drifting onto the literally surfing on that corner, I must say, on those curbs. And that was neat. I don't know what happened there, but that's probably the distraction. So after the first lap, we're literally up by 1 place in P7, closing down on Valtteri Bottas. We have been stuck behind him for a while. Oh my god, the understeer in this car is horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Charles Leclerc literally behind us, right in our rear view and everything. Literally not wasting any time trying to get past us and everything. But we get that nice traction from this hairpin and everything. He's still trying to get us, and he does make a bit of contact. Not ideal at all, to say the least. But we get the slipstream and the DRS and the use of the battery to try and get battery pot as we go on the inside here. Coming at the end of this straight, we make the move stick. Nicely done from us here. Now we're able to pull straight away from the finish driver so we can catch up to all the others ahead there. And that's our first track limit warning. Holy Christ, not ideal. So after a few laps have passed by, we're close up to Esteban Ocon, which is crucial to say the least, because that Alpine is quick. It's rather quick in the straight line, but we're quick in the corners somehow. Thanks probably our setup here. We go absolutely almost wide here, and that allows Charles Leclerc to close in onto us. Now actually, it's not Charles, it's Carlos Sainz. Beg my pardon. He literally taps our rear wheel. Say this. Sorry, I had a bit of a brain fart for a second, and we're literally coming up towards this this straight here with the DRS, and we do a little dive bomb on the inside of Esteban Ocon. We go a bit deep. He tries to come back to us. We push him wide, and we make the move stick somehow, and we manage to pull away. Closing in on Lewis Hamilton and everything. Well, not closing in, but quite so far away. As we pull away, the Alpine is battling with the Ferraris, who need to get past in order to take the championship for the team. But Esteban's not giving up a fight. Is it Charles Leclerc? I think it's Carlos Sainz round the outside to the inside. No, it is Charles Leclerc, I must beg your pardon. And then they make contact again. And Esteban Ocon gets back in front of them. George Russell's sniffing a bit of interest here. Here's the on-board footage from us. We do a dive bomb on the inside. We go wide, and then we come back to him. He tries to take us. We push him out a bit, and we put him in his place pretty much. A few laps have passed, and the Ferraris are squabbling over each other and everything. And that's another track limit warning. One more, and we get a penalty. 3 strikes, and we get a penalty. Done and dusted. It's been like that for a whole season. Track limit violations. Gotta love it. So as laps progress, Charles Leclerc does eventually get past Sainz and stays in front of him for the most of the majority of the race, and he's closing in on us rather quickly, to say the least. And we're trying our best to stay ahead of the new champion as best as possible in a rather uncompetitive car. So as a couple laps later, we make our first pit stop of the afternoon. We just say, and it's a bit of a slow pit stop with the left front wheel. Oh man, we just get ahead of Charles Leclerc, to say the least. That despite that slow pit stop, we just managed to get ahead of the Ferrari. Whew, that's not going to do Ferrari any good, thanks to the pit stops, because he's going to be stuck in our dirty air. And we rejoin ahead of Charles Leclerc in P11, behind Lando Norris, who is to make a pit stop, and Sebastian Vettel, and ahead of Ricciardo we are. But the tyres are so cold I struggle to actually get a bit of warmth in them, and literally, well, as you can see, Charles Leclerc gets a lot of momentum, and he gets used a lot of his battery by the looks of it to take us on this straight here. But we'll get the benefit of the DRS on this next straight here, as well as to keep it nice and tidy, which we do. So we try and pull ourselves back closer into Charles Leclerc. We can see if we can try to take on the outside, but no, we go on the inside, and we make a bit of contact. Thanks to that, we just managed to barge our way back through ahead of the Ferrari. Guan Yu Zhou's now out of the Grand Prix. I'm not sure what happened there, probably a mechanical failure or something, but we just get ahead of Charles Leclerc. But in doing so, with all the squabbling, George Russell performs the overcut and gets ahead of us in the from the pit stops and everything. Not ideal, not ideal at all, to say the least. But all we can do is try and stay close to George Russell as we possibly can, so that we can keep the DRS with him, so that we can try and pull away from Charles Leclerc as much as we can. because it's vital that we stay P7 with maximize all the points that we can get for our championship. As for the race leader, Max Verstappen, he's just cruising out in the lead. Nothing to challenge him at all. He'll be kicking himself to not defend his title for this season, but I'm sure he'll be back for the next season to challenge Charles Leclerc for the World Championship. As for the other battles going on, the battle for third place between Fernando Alonso and Mercedes Lewis Hamilton, they've been scoring for quite a bit for each other, and Alonso goes deep and Lewis Hamilton takes third place over this two-time world champion. One mistake from the veteran, another is the gain. Here's the onboard footage from Alonso. He locks up his right front, and that allows Lewis Hamilton to get past him and take third place onto the final podium position. Nicely done for Lewis, playing the patient game, putting a lot of pressure. As for us, we're trying so hard to get past George Russell, and we get a time penalty.
Okay,
Terrific.
time penalty. It will go against that finishing time at the end
Just
of the race.
terrific.
Down, and let's get it done.
So after that little malarkey and everything, we're trying to stay with George Russell as best as we can, so we can keep the DRS and pull away from Leclerc, but we just can't pull away from Leclerc at all. But we are pulling away from Daniel Ricciardo, to say the least, which is helping us to secure P8 at least. And we go super deep in that corner, but break super late in that corner, I must say. Almost went into the back of George. Oh boy. Thank God it didn't take his front wing off and everything, because that would have been almost game over, to say the least. So as we press on to try and keep calm and composed, to keep our race going and focus as much as we can. And there's yellow flags come out to the resurfaced part of the racetrack. I think that might be our teammate by the looks of it. Is it? Oh.
Okay, Oscar's dropped out of the race.
Well, just like the first race of the season, he retires from the Grand Prix, from this finale, and this could be his last race in Formula 1 after his rookie year. Excuse me. Unfortunate, but at the same time, it was just not going to progress at all. I feel for him. We broke super late into this corner here, coming out to this next straight here. We didn't get a good run, and that allows Charles Leclerc to close up onto us with the use of DRS. I think we would just hold him off for a bit. But as the race progressed, our tires were starting to get worn, and it kind of shows in this fast section of corners. We just do not have the grip at all. But we fought so hard to keep with George Russell, just to keep ourselves ahead of Charles Leclerc, even though it's inevitable that we were going to finish P8 in the first place, but we're going to give them a good run for their money. But because Charles Leclerc is literally coming out on the inside, on the outside, I should say, but we make the moves, we keep our place still to cement 7th place. But Charles Leclerc comes back at us side by side, coming in towards the new hairpin, but we just stay ahead of him, and he does try to get us, but we just keep the move stick and keep touching distance just about with George Russell. But we are running out of time with ERS and everything. It is only a matter of time before he gets us. We broke super late here, and we go super deep into this corner. We get a poor run out of this next turn onto this straight, and this is where Charles Leclerc will definitely get us. We lost the DRS to George Russell, and Charles Leclerc with the DRS and the battery gets us for P7. Damn it. That's just not fun at all, but it was inevitably going to happen, even with the 3-second time penalty. So as Max Verstappen comes around the final corner, just like last year, to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, finishing off the season in 2nd place of the standings. And as you can see in the background, Red Bull make it a 1-2, meaning that Red Bull will take the Constructors' Championship. At least they can get one hand on a trophy. They may miss out on drivers, but they certainly got the team. As for us, well, it's consolidating P8 and a very good season for us.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home. That's it then. They've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula One season. Tell me, Anne, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on track was: speed. I know it sounds like an awfully reductive statement, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So as you can see, Max Verstappen leads the Red Bull 1-2, meaning that they will be Constructors' champions. Lewis Hamilton getting the third place spot for Mercedes, rounding off a rather dismal season for Lewis Hamilton, not getting a single win, just like this year, which is a real shame. Real shame. But hopefully next year he'll come back stronger in real life. As for this universe, we can only be proud of what we achieved. So as you can see, the Red Bull standings of the 1-2 finish, as I said, they've taken the Constructors, which will showcase right now on here for the drivers. It is Charles Leclerc taking the title for the Ferrari team. The first title since Kimi Raikkonen in 2007. That's a pretty long time for Ferrari to take the title. Long overdue. Very long overdue. George Russell just missed out on second. And as you can see on the team, Red Bull take the title, to say the least. And I'm going to stop saying about the time taking the title because I said enough of it. As for us, we take P6. Pretty good for us to be in the standings. I've basically been picking up all the points. Piastri, I wish he could just score points, but it's rookie season, and this will be his last in a Phoenix Motorsports shirt. I'm sorry, Phoenix. No, I'm sorry, Oscar, but you're gonna be not say fired, but more like dumped. Hey ho. So as you can see, we're going to do some activities before we sign off the season here. Any more like last minute stuff that we want to do, because I want to make sure that we get prepared for the next season with our upgrades to go on the car, because I want to make sure that we start off the season next year very strong, hoping to become more regular point scorers, because it's vital that we get points for next season to hopefully improve our standing for next year. Excuse me.
In a rivalry. Sooner or later,
Jesus
you'll
Christ.
probably be asked by the media who you
I
consider
can't
to be
get
your
a break
rival.
from this.
Think carefully.
And so we had to do like a little event here, it's like sort out with the engine department, to say the least. I couldn't remember what you can get from it. I couldn't remember if you get a claim or resource points or the other way around.
Wants me to pass on their thanks for helping.
I wasn't so sure, so I just pressed on this just out of curiosity. So as we press forward in time, to say the least, I'm hoping for these upgrades to go on the car at least. Please go on the car.
We had a
Please.
major issue on the production line earlier this week. So the
They
entire
don't go on the
development
car.
package for this weekend
That's really annoying. But
any redevelopments will need to be
hopefully
ordered
we can
from the
redevelop
R&D
them
stream.
for next season and get them all ready, which we are going to do right now. We're going to place a reorder for them to be on a much cheaper rate. We can only do one though, which is really annoying. I wish I saw that earlier at the time of trying to pick an upgrade, but you win some, you lose some. But yeah, anyway, this has been the first season of my team. I must say it's been pretty fun making the first season of Formula One on YouTube here. I really have enjoyed my time doing all this and everything. Lots of like surprise wins, I must say, especially from George Russell for Silverstone and the US Grand Prix, which I must say was pretty cool to see. As for Charles Leclerc, he's our championship winner and the first Monegasque to win the title for Formula One. That's something you don't see, or you don't hear, which I hope he does in real life, to say the least. He almost did it. He could have done it this year in real life, but private squabbling just didn't happen. But yeah, I just want to say again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to watch my videos and watch me create content for this, because I really do enjoy them. I can't stress enough how much fun I actually do making these videos and editing them. Like this one here, I put like a little music for like the little final montage sort of thing. Not the montage, let's say that's not one word. Or like a little like nice send-off to the first season, to say the least. So I'm gonna keep quiet now and let this music do the talking. So please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, leave a like on this video, and I will see you for season 2. Check out, see what happens here. What happened there? Oh, who knows? Probably did the press button by accident. But yeah, I'm signing off season 1, and I will see you all in the next season.